So here we have a newborn lamb. This one's about a week old, so I usually process them about 2 days of age. Here are the supplies you need to blood sample this lamb. Your vacutainer needle, your holder for the needle, and your evacuated tube. Now this is an evacuated tube, so as soon as you introduce air into the tube, you've ruined its ability to suck in the blood. And you can see there is a liquid in there, and that is the anticoagulant, which keeps the blood from clotting. We cannot use clotted samples because we have to pipette the sample for research purposes, for testing purposes. So if it's clotted, you wouldn't be able to transfer that sample. So that's a really important point there. So I'm gonna set up my needle holder. These are 20 gauge by 1 inch needles. And the difference with these is they come with a little plastic sleeve on. So you can leave that on, but you won't know for sure when you're in the vein. So tell you what, I'll demonstrate one I'll leave this on and show you what happens. So just insert that like that. Get your tube. Once again, find the vein. It's straight down from the eye. Insert your needle, and this will keep it a lot cleaner. And if I'm in the vein, oh, see, I'm not. So I gotta back out a little bit. Oops. Yeah, okay, so that's why I don't do this. Where's the vein? It's over here. There we go. So sometimes you might have to move your needle around just a little bit to get right in the vein, but if you come back and you feel it with your finger, then you know where it is. So that's a lot neater because the blood won't ever drip, but you also are not sure when you're actually in the vein. So I just pull that little rubber piece off so I can see when the blood starts to drip, and screw that in there so it's ready to go. Okay, and these little guys, they stay pretty calm. I just like to lean them over my leg, and then the vein should be straight down from the eye and kind of in a little jugular groove there. There's a little indentation. I don't know if you can see that, but I've got it held off with my left thumb so that vein fills up with blood, and I can touch on it gently and I can see it jump. Going through the wool, you can plug the needle. So if you insert like that and you don't get blood right away, quite possibly could be because you got some wool in your needle, and try a different needle. Okay, so you want to lean them over your leg, and there I can see the vein right there. There, and you saw the blood drip, and you're in, and you're good to go. And it just fills up like that. And you might have to, there are little veins on these newborn lambs, so you might have to adjust it a little bit. We want you to get at least, there we go, it's filling nicely now. So you might have to adjust it just a teeny bit. And then pull out, go ahead and stop any blood. There, and that was easy, it's all done. You know, wipe it off if you've gotten any blood on it. Invert it very gently to get that anticoagulant mixed so it does not clot. Carefully, make sure you cross-check your numbers. This is lamb 16698. And I write it and then I make sure I double check it, because if you write the wrong number, your data is totally invalid. The test results are invalid. Invert it. And that lamb is ear tagged, it's identified, a double identification system. It has its blood sample drawn. So basically we've just added one extra step to probably what most producers do normally. I think most people weigh their lambs at birth, ear tag them, and docket castrate. And we've just added one additional step of taking a blood sample. You can do it at weaning time, that's another possibility, but if we need the lambs back by 90 days of age, if you wait till they're 60 days to test them, that doesn't give you a lot of turnaround time. Even if we're quick getting the testing back to you, then you don't have much time to get them sorted and get them back. So I like bleeding them at birth for that reason. So this is a newly weaned lamb. He's a little over 2 months of age, so a little smaller, doesn't have near the wool on him, so it shouldn't be too hard to bleed. You can, if you had to, you could shear the neck, but unscrew your needle. I'm going to use an 18 gauge on him. I think that'll work okay. The little baby lambs will use the smaller 20 gauge. So on this lamb, comes straight down from the eye, and that's where that vein is. And if I hold it off with my left hand, you should be able to see it move. It bounces a little bit. So then I want to come in here. And then I'd hit the vein immediately, kind of made a little bit of a mess, but I was right in, and there it fills the tube. So there we go. Then take it out, hold that off just a little bit. Pull your tube out and make sure you invert it. You need to invert it because it has anticoagulant in it, and we don't want these samples clotted. They cannot run them if they are clotted. They need to be in a liquid form so they can pipette them. So you want to gently invert it. And then you want to get the lamb's ear tag number and double check that. Make sure you get that written down right. And then go ahead and set it in your box. So this is a 4-month-old lamb, and we'll be showing you how to blood sample him today. He's a little different. Obviously, you have to restrain him a little differently. Also, he's got 1 to 2 inches of wool on him. So you might be doing it at this stage if you're looking for carrier status in your replacement animals. So either replacement ewes or replacement rams. And on these lambs, we're going to use an 18 gauge needle. It's a larger gauge. It's a little easier. It's a larger opening so to hit that vein. Pull it off and screw it into the needle holder. Now these did not have that little rubber sleeve on them, so that makes that a little nicer. You can skip that step. All right, and then this, once again, this is an evacuated tube, so you do not want to let air into this because then it's no good anymore. Take the lid off, come down next to the lamb, and that vein should be right straight down from the eye. So if I hold off with the vein with my left thumb, and then I feel for it, and I can, if you touch it gently, you can see it move. So then I insert the needle, and then I add the tube onto there, and there if you've got your sample. And you want to make sure you invert that. There's anticoagulant in there that will keep the blood from clotting. We cannot use clotted samples. And then double check writing the ear tag number on. So I'm going to write 16458, because if you write the wrong number on the tube, that messes up all your results. If you can't hit that vein with the wool on, and you need to see the vein, we will come through and actually shear a small path up the neck so you can see the vein. Now he might jump. Okay, so that's basically what you want to do, and then you can, once again, hold it off, and then it's a little easier to see it. It's right there. So there it is. It's coming straight down from his eye, and I hold it off with my left thumb, and I can see it fill up with blood, and I release, and the vein goes down. Yeah. Okay, so you want to unscrew your needle. Go ahead and screw the needle back in the needle holder, and then you're ready to bleed. So just take the top off. And you come back over to the animal, hold off the vein so it fills up, and insert the needle. And then when you're in the vein there, I just saw it drip, so I'm in the vein. Put your vacuum tube on, and it fills up. There you go. And you might want to put a little pressure on it so the blood stops immediately. You put the top back on. You can pull your tube out, invert it gently, and then once again, be very careful and double check your numbers that you've written it down right. 16458. Because if you write the wrong number on the tube, you will never trace it back to this animal. Okay, and then you can do another invert just to make sure the blood is flowing back and forth. And you're good, because we want this to stay a liquid. We do not want it to be a solid. And there you go. Always change your needle, because you contaminate DNA from one needle to the next, and your results will not be valid. So every animal needs a brand new needle. And we can either wipe out or wash out our needle holder, and you're ready to do the next animal.